Hello. Oh, wow. I am so excited. I am Shermantel Durskell, celebrity publicist, motivational speaker, and number one international best-selling author of the number one habit series for entrepreneurial success, which you can purchase on Amazon.com. I am so excited today because I am talking to an amazing queen, Mary Angel. So I'm just going to give it a minute and let everyone come in. Hello, Ray O'Shawn. Ray O'Shawn. Sun. I'm like shine. That's what I'm thinking about. Sunshine. Ray O'Sun. Hello. I was like, I was like Ray of Sunshine because that's what it felt like reading your username. I'm letting everyone know that I've had some technical difficulties getting in. I have no idea. Like that happens. Oh, wonderful. And be safe while you're driving. I'm sure everyone's going to start coming in soon. And let her know that I am ready. Hello. Hello, my new buddy, my new friend. Hello. Thank you so much for chiming in. I really appreciate it. Thank you. This is a live Instagram series titled Choose Your Path, and I do it every single week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes other days. Stay tuned. I usually post the flyer. And what it is to teach others through conversation, I hope, to inspire. We are speaking to Mary Angel. Oh my goodness, she has a real resume here. She's an author, an evangelist, she's an advocate, motivational speaker. She's a counselor and also an advocate for domestic violence survivors. And she's a founder of Professional Advocacy and LLC, Sons of Daughters. Oh my goodness, virtual ministry. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I know we usually start at 6 o'clock, but today I was going live and it was like poor connection. And I would start over. And I was like, oh, this must going to be an amazing show. You know, anything that's pushing against something positive that you're doing, that means it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I am definitely hoping that you guys are, hopefully you're inspired by this conversation that we're going to have today. Let's see if she's in here. She is. Hello, Creative Art of Expressions. Thank you guys for coming in. I really appreciate it. I see you all. Thank you. Look at that background. See, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I said we must going to be doing some work here because I had to stop and start and stop and start. It wasn't letting me in. And here we are. I'm so happy. Thank you
I
so much for your patience, Queen. I really
oh,
appreciate it.
I'm so happy to be here and thank you. I love that background too. I was like, I wasn't sure because I'm like my son's background is, it's so the
Oh
new
no,
stuff.
it's perfect. It's
Oh,
perfect.
I thank God for you. You're so beautiful. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Oh my God, I'm so excited that you're here because I'm sure we got so much to talk about. We're going to have an amazing hour. I did this background. I usually have the other background with the books because I love books, right?
Right.
But I have a new good friend, cool friend, DJ Diamond the artist. He's a celebrity DJ and he's been on twice. And
Really?
it was his birthday. Yeah, he came on, I think it was like a day or two before his birthday, and this was to celebrate his birthday, and I left it up ever
I
since
love
because I
it.
like it. It's fun, right?
Oh, wow.
In this climate that we're in, I think that we need something definitely to lift up our spirit, right?
I'm a
Yep.
bling girl, so that goes I love that. I love bling.
I see. You're so beautiful. Look at your hat. Come on
Thank
over
you.
here and let's switch. So let me tell you a little bit about what this show is about. At first, with the pandemic and everything, when it first came about, I was like, all right, we only have like a week or two. I'll be fine, right? One of the events were canceled. I said, okay, 2 weeks, give or take, we'll be back out. And then it was 3 weeks, and then it was 4 weeks. And I did have a little mental break. I tell people I'm really transparent with life. A lot of times they say I shouldn't do that because of the space that I'm in, but I love being me. I can only be me, and I really did. I had like a little mental break, and then God said, "Get yourself together. You'll be all right, right?" And
Right.
so I was like, you know what? Let me go on live conversations. Let me have some live Instagram conversations with my friends and check in and see how they're doing, see how they're feeling. And maybe through our conversations, I don't know, we can inspire someone else because they may be feeling that same thing that I'm feeling. And then it turned into a thing.
Ain't that like God? It'll just be something for you. And then you'll look up and it's like he'll take you somewhere to where you're like, wow.
That's exactly what he did. And I'm actually really I did lose a lot of loved ones and business associates,
Oh,
like, during this pandemic, but I'm still grateful and I'm still excited about life because I'm
right.
still here. Thank you guys so much for the donations, and thank you we rocking. I was like, oh my God, no one's gonna come because they're gonna be like, Chantel, it starts at 6 o'clock, but they are all here. We are here with Mary Angel. I'm gonna try to do this quick introduction. I was telling everyone what you do. You're an author, you're an evangelist, you're a motivational speaker. Yes, I love that. I love speaking. I love talking. So this is gonna be great. You're an advocate for domestic violence survivors.
Yes, I'm one. I'm a survivor.
Me too.
I'm a survivor. And because it ain't just, a lot of people think domestic violence is basically you getting punched or kicked or, some kind of
Mm-hmm.
physical abuse.
Yeah.
But my experience with it is the emotional, mental, and the financial abuse that
Yes,
people
yes.
don't talk about because they don't think that's abuse.
Yeah, that's true. Because I remember when I was in college, at the time it was predominantly, I went to a private college, and I spoke about it to a few of the girls that was at the school that I went to. And it was amazing how many was experiencing as well. But because of the neighborhoods and the lifestyle that they had, they tend to stay. We
Right,
stay for all different kinds of reasons.
right,
For me, I just felt like when I look back and just take a little glimpse back, because I don't really,
right.
I'm always moving
Exactly.
forward and living
You
in the
move
moment.
forward.
But when I look back, I just simply think I just wasn't loving myself. This is a question I was going to ask you. I was watching a trailer earlier, and it was interesting how the lady said, it's interesting to me how they always ask the woman, why did you stay? But
Right.
they never ask the man, why didn't you stop?
That's
I
true.
was like, I'm gonna bring that up.
Well,
Why is that?
I stayed because I really believed that beyond all the bad stuff that was happening, that he was displaying to me, I had some belief of that love that I was believing was there for me. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to let go of what I thought was some love for me. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
truly believed in the beginning part of what got me in the first place to give my life and heart to this person,
Mm-hmm.
who technically was, as I wrote that book, it was my Prince Charming that turned into Casanova. But during that time of the good, I always kept trying to say, well, maybe I was giving him a chance to be able to come back to that person that I thought was always there. And I
Yeah,
was just trying to
wow.
get him to, sometimes people go through stuff and you try to give them an opportunity to go through their stuff and you try to be there. And a lot of times you'll think, oh, they going through something, I need to stick, work with them. And they don't mean
Mm-hmm.
this, they don't mean that, and so, you just I just kept reasoning the love. And then he constantly brought it back to me when it was no more bad stuff happening, he'll come back with, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I love you."
Oh,
You know
yes,
how it just
that
is. You know,
phase.
it is sometimes the excuses ran out, and he would just be like, "Well, you know, I'm just not. I'm not like you. You know, I'm not strong like you. You know, you're a good person." So
Mm-hmm.
then I began to be this person who was trying to save him from being bad to me.
Mm. And now you're an advocate for the survivors. How do you, this is another good one too. How do you protect yourself when you're helping so many others who are maybe just getting out of that situation? And when I say protect yourself, the energy, because when you can be, for me, when I would talk to other females, I would find myself after a while, I could feel it and I didn't know how to release all of that. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying?
No, no, I get you. What I learned to do to help myself be distant from someone else's pain is that, and to try to help them through it, is I always remembered the part where I was done with my pain. And so when I'm
Mm,
helping them, I don't put myself in it. I let
right.
them, you know, I always make sure I keep my mental state in a form of, this is not me. This is my you know, that I'm helping them, because it's almost like, you know, if you did something, you passed the test or whatever, and you're helping someone else that needs to learn to pass that test, and you're studying, you're actually helping them understand what you went through and how you made it through, and you passed the test, and this is how you pass it. So I just basically go through the steps with them to identify, and
Mm,
I never put myself back there. I never allow myself to get emotionally attached to what I'm doing to help them through, because that's normally what's wrong with us. We so into our emotions that we can't think.
yes,
we
that is so
we can't
true.
stop and say, wait a minute, you know that, am I crazy? Did I just let you do that to me? Did you just play me like that? Did you know what I'm saying? I had to get to that place to where, you know, I understand that I graduated from that. And so my
Mm,
mission is, I always take myself out, and I never put myself there. I always say, "Here I am, sister or brother," because believe it or not, it is a lot of men that are being abused by women, a lot,
yes, it
and
is.
they will
Yes, it
not
is.
get a voice in our communities, because people will say, "He a dude. He what? Ain't nobody, you know, don't nobody care. He a man. Then he should. I mean, he needs to just stand up and be a man." And a lot of them have this, you know, it's men hurt like we do. They love like we do. You know how many women is taking advantage of men, taking their monies and playing like they love them, and it's abuse because the man
Mm,
is trying to, you know, she'll play like she love him, and then she'll turn around and be like, you know, "Well, make sure you take care of me, help me, give me this," and he's always trying to show her he love her, and she's always stepping on him. And even women that beat up the men, there's a lot of men that's being beat up, and it don't sound right, because he's stronger than her. He can do what he can knock her out. He can, you know, he can
that's
hurt her.
sad.
But it's a lot
Yeah.
of men that is getting abused, cursed out, threatened, and they can't do nothing back because they know, "I can't hit you." So women will take it to the extreme and begin to abuse them, calling them all kind of names and slapping them, and, you know, and taking them to a place to where, you know, they have to decide whether they're gonna go to jail, or they just gonna take it and keep on going. And a lot of times they still love these women and be like, "Well, I love her, you know, man, she just tripping." And all
Mm,
the
mm,
time
mm.
it's really, he's being abused. She ain't tripping. She found someone that she can abuse.
Oh, goodness. That is, and people just continue. Well, people cannot give something that they don't have, right?
I
And
mean,
they're not ready to receive it either.
no, and most of the time I found that abusers are, you know, a lot of them are not just people who seem to be, you know, how you think, okay, well, they've been hurt, so they're hurting people. Because most of the time, hurting people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
But these abusive people that like to punch you, like to kick you, like to steal your
Mm,
money from you, or talk to you any kind of way, or play games with your mind, those people I've learned have been people who just know how to mastermind and take charge and dominate other people, and they love it.
mm.
They
That
love the
is not a
power
place to
that
be.
narcissist. I got her. I got him in my pocket. I can do whatever. I had my son's father used to brag before. I was like 19 years old. I was real young. I didn't know nothing about anything. And he used to brag about this girl that he used to beat up, and his girlfriend. He's like, and one day I had a cigarette and I put it out on her leg because I just wanted to see what she was gonna do. What was her reaction gonna be to me putting a cigarette on her leg? And I was just, that was just freaking me out that he was laughing about it. And he thought it was something good that he used to talk about knocking her out and stuff, and beating her up all the time. And I just, couldn't understand. And he tried it with me, but he got 15 stitches for trying it. It didn't work.
You said he tried it.
Yeah, I see. I'm not the. I don't get punched, but I get emotionally broken, and I get my money taken. I get that kind of stuff and mental games with your head. But that beat me up stuff.
Oh.
Nah, he came. He thought he was coming for that, and he got him a nice bunch of stitches, and he never came back around.
And see, and I got that part.
It was
And it literally took for him to let's see, I was life flighted. And that's what it took for me to say, okay, enough is enough, because now I think you're really trying to kill me.
they real and I think what happens is they get power and they get this fuel and this energy, and it's almost like it just get worse because the more they get to abuse you, the more it makes them get this adrenaline. And I think that they be looking for you to just tap out, like to
Yeah,
really,
no.
and most of the time they end up killing the woman because it's just I think the rage and the lust of it, the lust of being able to hurt somebody and have you under them, that to that point to where
Mm-mm.
it just get out of control. And I think they
That is
just get
not
to the point
okay.
where I'm just gonna kill you, because they done did all this beating already. You know what I'm saying? They done
That
beat
is
you
not
so much, they
okay.
done pulled you down so much to it get to the point to where they need this ultimate kill. It's like a lust inside of them to just bring you to that ultimate, I'm gonna destroy you. And
Mm.
I don't think they even understand how bad they are, and how it seems like when they first start, it's a little bit, then it gets, you know what I mean? It might start small and then it'll just get worse and worse until eventually their whole goal is if I gotta kill you, I'll kill you.
And you know what else? Before we start talking, I want to start talking about your books. Is that I'm so concerned, and I'm saying constant silent prayers for the women and children that are in this time where they are literally locked up with the abuser. They can't get out.
That is hard right now because being in this pandemic has caused a lot of deaths with domestic violence,
Mm-hmm.
and with child abuse. Child abuse is
Mm.
all time high right now, because most of the people are locked in the houses all day. They have no outlets. They have no one to help them. Nobody cares because everybody is kind of trying to worry about their own life right now,
Right. Everybody's trying to
and
survive.
everybody's trying to make it and everybody's trying to stay safe. So most people that will be around that can kind of help you out, or some places that might be safe places, they're not there anymore.
Mm.
And a lot of the people are unable to reach out because where are they going? And what I've learned about I was in a shelter, a domestic shelter, in a suburban area, and it was a place to where I found that I was being abused in the shelter by the staff. And I can remember being in that shelter to where they were abusing the women and they were taking advantage of us because we had nowhere else to go.
And nowhere else to go. And that's
So
what people would do that.
I had the staff literally make me clean, there's chores we had to do. And I had to actually, me and some of the women, we had to do her job. We had to do her chores and ours. And if we didn't do it, then I was under the threat. When I said no, she tried to literally fight me. She got fired by it, but it took the women who trusted in me, who loved me, because when I came there, you kind of bond together because
Hmm.
and they knew that I was a person that was, not bad. And so when this person, they were used to the abuse from her. I'm not, I'm
You was
like,
like,
look,
no.
I may have been abused by this person. Now and I told him the reason I came to the shelter is not because I'm afraid of him. It's because I know I'm gonna have to kill him.
Mm-mm-mm.
So I'm gonna protect myself from having to force my hand to take advantage of what I have to take advantage of to make sure that I'm safe. So I just moved to a place that was safe so I can go somewhere and be protected. But so when she started coming for me and she was threatening me that you better do this or else, I just stood up to her and I told her, you can't talk to me like that. You can't treat me like that. I just went through that. And so when she did that, she let me know her power. She started with the abuse. Well, you know you ain't got nowhere to live and you in a shelter. And I said, and you know you at work, right? So we
Oh,
went back and
wait, that
forth.
is terrible.
And then when she got through with all that, she finally reached over to call people and tell them that I did something wrong. And they immediately told me, the other staff, because they weren't going to believe me, they immediately told me to leave. Only
Gosh.
recourse I had is that God let those other women who normally was so broken and timid and scared, and everybody's worried about, well, where are we gonna live? You know, well, we're gonna have to, if they kick us out, we're gonna have to go right back where we came and then possibly face death. So, but those women were strong, thank God. They stood up and they went and told that no, this is what
This
really
is what's
happened.
happening.
And they got
Yeah.
rid of her and I was able to stay. But do you know the threat that I was under, that I was going to have to go back to a place that was going to be where I'm going to have to do some harm to protect myself, because I was not going to let nobody kill me or hurt me or beat me. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to, but I didn't want to do that.
I'm smiling because God chose you to speak up. He gave you that battle so that you can help others that's going to be coming in after you, that's going to need that help and need that shelter and that safe space. So
And
God
that
bless
it
you.
did. You know what? I thought about that. That actually made the way for those women to get the help that they wasn't getting and get, they were actually being abused by that staff member and they was able to get free from that. And, it was
Right.
scary, but it helped. It did help. So I learned my silence it's not important. My speaking up and taking that chance and possibly having to face the whatever might come, it's worth it. It's
He
worth it.
sure did give her an inspiring voice because she's an author, an evangelist. She's a motivational speaker. She also has, you also have your own company. You're the founder of Professional Advocacy LLC. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All
I
right.
I do a lot of different things. Like I had a elder. I do a lot of help with elderly people. Call me, and they got family that just because you got a lot of kids don't mean they're gonna take care of you when you get older. That's
That's true.
that's just a myth that you believe that, oh, I know my kids gonna take care of me. Well, I am faced with women that are in their 70s and 80s who kids don't take them to the store, who won't go help them go to the doctors, who just won't come and help straighten up their houses, little stuff they need to just function. And so I've had to do those things, and I do that. Like last week I got a call from a man that was sick, who don't have a way to get to the doctor, who's been stuck in the house from the pandemic, who was on a breathing machine, who doesn't have a ramp to get out of his house, who needs a power chair because he has CPOD and he can't even walk anymore because any steps he take, his heart rate goes up. So I had to get involved and call his doctor and say, hey, why don't he have a power chair? Why don't he have a
Wow.
ramp on his porch so he can get on the van, so he can get around? He ain't been to the doctor's office. He ain't been to the store. He's stuck in the house. His health is getting worse. Like, what are you guys doing to assist this person? So from that call to them last week, he now is getting the services that he needs. So that's what I do. I intervene, and I don't care what your situation is. I've had people who had caseworker, a lady who food stamps, she hadn't gotten them in 3 months, and her caseworker wouldn't call her back, and it was just a big mess. And she was so frustrated, and so she said, I need help. And I didn't call her caseworker or her supervisor. I called the governor's office, and I said, we got a person who is in this state who is on a government assistance, who have not had food stamps in 3 months for no apparent reason at all, and I need somebody to find out why. And then she called her and said, why did you call the governor on me? I said, tell her, and if she do something else, I'm gonna call them. I will call the White House.
You the
Oh, I have called the White House, honey, because I got my granddaughters. I got two granddaughters that was in foster care, and the
wow.
workers were lying and trying to get my grandkids adopted because they were not liking me and they was not really fond of my daughter. And I'm like, listen, you ain't gotta like me, but I'm asking you to take care of my grandkids properly. Do you know that
Mm-hmm.
they were trying to get my grandkids adopted? And I was just sometimes you could go to different places to get help and you could be at a dead end because everybody will like, I ain't helping you, you ain't got no money, you ain't nobody. And that's what happens
Right.
to us. Who are you? I'm not gonna help you. So I actually got in touch with the Department of Health and Human Service in Washington, called the secretary's office. That back then it was Governor, no, back then it was Obama. I got in touch with the person he appointed, and they got me in touch with the person that was the regional director, and they got to our state and said, "What's going on? Get down there and see what Grandma wants." And my grandkids got off the foster care chopping block, and it's been with me now for almost 3 years, thanks to
Mm-mm-mm.
what I'm saying, utilizing, and that's what I do. I help people utilize the services that we don't even know is there for us. It's we the
Mm-mm-mm.
people. It ain't we the government. It's we the people. So they
But you
work for
gotta you
us.
gotta have that strength to go out and look. I've been on this new app Clubhouse lately. I think it
Oh,
is addictive all day, like all day and all night. And there was a young lady, I was listening to her story. I was in and out of this room and I was listening to her story and I could hear like her just feeling like she didn't know what to do. And a lot of times we don't even realize that everything we need is right inside of us. And it's I'm so grateful that God has given you that strength to be that voice for those who haven't found theirs just yet.
right. Because
Right.
that's what I am actually this year setting up a service to where, I am making it to where people would know, like, if you have a problem, like I had a problem with, somebody hurting me in a public setting, like, in a store.
Mm-hmm.
I was in McDonald's and I got treated really bad. And, as that lady named Karen, how she called police on that black guy just because he was black. And I had
Mm-hmm.
that happen to me. And most people don't know there's a such thing as a public accommodation. You are supposed to be treated properly in the public. And there is a complaint that you can file with the Equal Rights Division in your state to make sure that any place that you've been in the public setting mistreated, you can actually help yourself by trying to make them accountable for that. There is, if you have problems with your insurance policy, or let's say you had a problem with the insurance company because you had an accident or something happened to you, there's a
Mm-hmm.
department called the insurance commissioner that governs those people who does insurance licenses, who may not be handling your claim right or may not be handling your policy right. You have recourses, you know trade and the consumer protection. A lot of people don't know that you can actually file a complaint against anything that got to do with consumers. If you have a problem with the
Oh
police
yeah, you
department,
sure can.
you can go to the Department of Justice and file a complaint against the police department in your state. You don't have to go. You can go to the Wisconsin, Washington. The head of the White House. They have one in your local state attorney general's office, and then they also have one in the if you can't get nowhere in your state, you don't have to settle for the state. You can go on to the federal
You
and
go
go
to
to
the
them.
next level. We
You don't
I
have
have
to settle.
I placed this picture here. I know it's all cut off. I wish it wasn't because I want to see all of them. But tell me, what was your inspiration behind just starting to be an author in all of these amazing children books that you have? Oh my goodness.
Well, one with Princess Olivia and Princess Shania, we want the coronavirus to go away. My granddaughters and me began to be locked in the house,
Mm-hmm.
like everybody
There.
else, just locked in the house. Like, how do you get up and you got a life every day? You go to school every day, and you got teachers and friends and activities and field trips and stuff. Now
Yeah.
you have nothing but the house that you just look at each other. So they were reflecting upon their being able to go outside before this happened and how it's affecting them. So we just kind of like came up with a book about how you feel about it. And the book is basically have a lot of pictures of them before the virus happened, and then they start talking about what it's like now, and then it goes into a journal where kids can talk about what they can actually start right now how they feel about corona, but how did it affect them. Have they lost any loved ones or friends? Do they miss their teachers? How are they doing with this being at home? And how do they now communicate with their friends? How do they have parties now? How do they
Yeah.
enjoy, do they go out anymore to the amusement parks? So they just have a place to where they can journal their feelings, and they can be able to talk about how it's affected them. And it's just something for kids to kind of get an idea about their own experiences being children and how they really want this to go
I
away.
I love that. Like before the pandemic, I would visit the schools and talk to the children because I absolutely love the kids. And I don't know if you would call it tagline or the speech title, but I always title it "You Are Enough." Because a
Oh,
lot of time, because for me as a child, I had a bad experience growing up, like in school. I was teased, I was bullied, I was, threatened to get beat up and all of that. And it was only because of the smile and those straight A's,
right.
because
That's
life for
real.
me, yeah, that's real. And life for me wasn't that great for me, my school experience. So that is absolutely amazing that you have created this, because I often wonder, I was thinking too, like I should bring on, some young people to have live conversations because I do want to know how they're doing.
Right.
I ask the adults every time when we come on and have conversations, like, how are you doing during this time? But I want to know about how our young people, our future leaders, how are they doing?
Right.
How are they adjusting to this?
A lot of kids are actually not. They just don't have any. What I learned about children is, because I was one of those kids that, back when I was growing up, we just was not heard. You just was not heard.
Hmm.
You got what you got from an adult. It's like, go, just go, deal with it. You just didn't have a voice. You didn't have feelings. You couldn't express your feelings. Whether they were, bad feelings. And most kids are afraid to say what they feel because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't
Oh
want the parent to look at them
goodness.
like you bad because you feel that way. And so that's why I have them to be able to put down feelings, whether they're good or bad, because I want them to be able to
A
express it.
safe
Because
space.
mental health for children is everything, just like it is
Mm.
for adults. But we overlook our kids because we think that they just kids. They don't know. I was always be told, "Oh, them kids don't want that. They don't need that." I just be like, "No, I do want that." I can remember being a child, and I remember them making, certain food, and they'll be like, "Oh, them kids ain't gonna eat that. They don't want," and I'll be trying to express that I did want to eat that, but they just
Ugh,
assumed that kids want hot dogs all the time and
that's
bologna
very
sandwiches.
true.
I was like, "Give me some of that steak you eat." you
So we
know.
have that book. And what about the other? Where do I find all of these books? If
You can
someone's
go.
on here and they want to purchase them.
Well, they can go to www.maryangel.org,
Oh,
and they
that's
can
real
order them
easy.
there. And it's on Amazon as well. Um, the one book that the most passionate one to me, that has been, the leading drive that made me start when I first started writing, was about my sexual abuse that I suffered in my relative's home.
Mm.
It was very, very hurt. Really, it messed up my whole entire life. Because how do you handle that? Sex is hard for adults to engage in that and be able to function.
I don't even know if we know what we doing half of the time.
We don't. I mean, seriously, I had no clue, what I'm saying, when I did get of age, what I was doing. But being a little 3-year old and having to face things that, you don't even understand when you're old enough to say, like, what is that?
Mm.
What do you do? But for to be a child, a little kid that's innocent, that don't know nothing about anything but good things, don't even see bad things, that broke my whole heart as a 3-year-old
Mm.
child. And that abuse went on for 3 years till I was 6 years old. Like, literally, it was a daily abuse that I had to suffer every night. And nobody paid attention to that abuse because, my book is called The Enemies in Our House. And the reason it's called The Enemies in Our House, most people would think, well, the enemies in our house is actually, it would be the person who's raping the children, right? But that's not
Mm.
true. The enemies in our house is the people who have authority over you and refuse to pay attention to how to protect and safe proof their house. That is the authority figures, whether that's mama, daddy, cousin, auntie, whoever, whether whoever has authority over other children in their home, be however they're in your home, be it spending the night or be it foster parent, auntie got you, cousin, I don't care where you at. That adult's supposed to safe proof their house for your safety.
What what would be the signs that a parent can, maybe look at and see when we talk about like sexual abuse? I recently had a very dear loved one pass away, at a young age. I would say it's always too soon. I don't care what age it is, it's always
Right.
too
I was
soon.
just to say we
She
don't want
was, yeah, she was 46 years old, and I found out before she had passed away, months before she had passed away, that her stepdad was sexually abusing her. And I was like, girl, what? That's exactly what I said. I said, girl, what? Because I was, as a child, that's where I would go. You on the weekends. And I had to start thinking back, like, did he look at me any kind of way? You know what I mean? Like, did I sit on his lap? All of that. What are the signs? Because I'm like, did your mom know? Did she even know that this was happening?
Did she tell
Because
you she think her mom knew?
no, she did know, but she didn't. She did not put him out.
But see,
Nothing happened.
that's what I talk about, the enemies in our house. Most sexual abuse that's happening in the house is happening because the people that is like you said, that was her mother's husband or boyfriend,
Hmm.
and this
Hmm.
person was more valuable to her than her child.
Oh
That
goodness.
relationship meant more to her than dealing with the fact that this person should have been held accountable and she's supposed to protect her child. And that's why it's constantly happening, because most of the people that's abusing you, it is not really strangers, it is somebody that have access to you, that are relatives or friends of the family. And when my situation was a friend of the family, and my family valued those people so much till when the truth came out and it was just evident, that okay, this actually happened. you know they just couldn't get rid of they just did not want to disconnect from them, because they were like, you know they like our brother, that's like our, they mom was
Yes.
my grandmother's best friend, and everybody was just so all in the family, and they just silenced me. What they did is they said, you know well, my grandmother said, well, I ain't gonna let him come over here no more. And then about a month later, guess who was able to
He
come over?
he was back.
But this is what they thought they were doing. She would say stuff like, well, make sure the kids is not in the same room with them. But he had other ways to molest me. So he
Mm.
would do stuff like, back then, a teenager, because he was like a 17. So a teenager talking about a little kid that at this time I was 6 years old. He would then say, she got money and she want me to take her to the store. He'll go in the house and tell them that. And they actually believed him. And then that would be him able to come up to me and say, come on, you going with me. And I'd have to go with him. And then he'd take me to a garage with a dirty mattress that's in a garage in an abandoned place and molest me there.
Oh
And
God,
and
that's
then
terrible.
his way to get away with it, he would leave me, and then he would go back, and I'd have to beg my way to people. Do they know where I live? I would tell them where I live. I only knew the school because I was so young. I said I live by, and they would help me get back
Mm.
home. And when I get there, I get a beating because he told them I ran off while we were at the store. So he portrayed me as a bad kid. And so they took that portrayal of, yeah, she bad. And then remember, I told on him. So now, because the adults don't like that, they look at me like you messed up everything, because they look good
At
time.
all. Yep.
Everybody ain't happy no more. So it's looked like here she always doing something. So the reason why a lot of kids run away and you see them out in the streets and you wonder, like, why would they run away from a nice home or from their family? Because most of those homes are not even safe. The streets are safer than the homes. Then we talk about sex trafficking and human trafficking. Do you know that a sex trafficker and human trafficker, people that actually started in somebody's house? They were in the house first. They were somebody's kid, somebody's, you know what I'm saying, somebody growing
That
up.
just breaks my That breaks my heart. I worked as an EMT before I got into entertainment. I worked as an EMT for 15 years. I worked in healthcare in the clinical aspect, emergency medicine. So I've seen a lot. And I think that that's why I have to be very careful for me. And I know that. I have this empathy that I just take it in because
Right.
I've been in the rooms in the worst of times when people have taken their last breath, or the men has literally beat a woman to death, or the children have been beaten by their parents, or
Yes.
killed. And I've had even patients who were killed by their hands of their parents. So because of all of that I have seen, for me, the way that I give back is just on the stage and sharing stories and giving inspiration. I love the fact that you are a counselor. I love the fact that you're in a space where you advocate for those, because I wish I had that. I wish I had that strength, but I don't. I would be a mess. What did he do? What happened? And then I'll just be crying, because sometimes if you ever look back, if you get a chance and you just sitting there, you go back to some of these conversations that I have, my eyes are red because I'm like feeling what they're saying. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh my goodness. And then I have to go and pray. I always meditate before I come on here, and I ask God for me to say something to give to the people, because every day I want to be very intentional about how I spend my
Yes.
time and what it is that I do. I want to shout out to my sponsor, 10K Cards. Let me tell you what this is. Were you on the Nikki Rich show? Tell me about Nikki Rich. I love her.
Yes. Yes. I've been on her show many times. She is awesome.
Oh,
She
because
she actually helped me start all of this with, doing the shows and stuff. Because I started with her. This was actually the original show. That actual picture is the original show that I started back before the pandemic.
no
And
way. Isn't that the way God aligns? Uh-oh. I can Okay.
so she has been more than just a person who, do the show, but she's been like a really serious mentor and a very, very great example, and a, good friend. She's awesome.
She's amazing. When I first started over 10 years ago, right? And I think she believes she still has the radio show. We connected,
Yes.
and she interviews my very first client. And I have been following and watching her evolve over the years.
Oh,
And she is absolutely amazing. So, wow, that's amazing that they put that together. That 10K cards. This is what it is. It's a digital business card. And what's amazing is that everything, whatever it is that you have going on, like your books, we can all put it all in one place.
oh,
And
that is awesome.
yeah, and when you click that link, you can literally make this your bookmark. It looks like your own app. Like my face is under Netflix on my
I
phone,
love
right?
that. You is amazing, girl. I seen that and I was looking like, ooh, I think that's something different.
Yep.
That
So
is
whatever,
so nice.
you can go through it, take a look, and anything that we need to add, subtract, take away, fix, whatever. And if you want to change the color, let me know, and we'll be
I
happy to do
love that.
so. So this is a way where, like, now, all they have to do is scan your QR code. Look at you there.
Oh, look at
They
that.
scan, look at that. They scan your QR code. You be
Yay,
like,
that is
here, six
so
feet.
nice.
You be like 6 feet.
That's
And then, or you
beautiful.
could be in a grocery store with someone and be like, how can I get in touch with you, girl? And you'd be like, oh, here, scan this. And it goes right to their phone, all your
What?
information. So now you have your own QR code. And this is a
That
gift that
is
I am giving to you, because
thank you.
I definitely appreciate your
Wow.
time, your gift of time. You're giving me something that is super expensive, something that you cannot get back. We can spend money all day long and get that back. I've had it
Yes.
and didn't have it, but time, when we're spending it, we cannot get that back.
That's our
That's it.
biggest value that we don't even understand. And that's why we can't, I really encourage people to really get into,
Hey,
not being
Javion.
afraid to get counseling. You know what I mean? Not
Mm-hmm.
be afraid to step forward and say, I want to do something, but I don't know how to do it. Don't think that you can't do it because you say, I was a daycare provider in my city for 18 years, but I started with a welfare check. I did not have no money. I was fresh off of
Speak
foster.
it.
Yeah, I was coming out of foster care. I was a foster child. So
Uh,
all this stuff, and I had a lot of stuff going on, and I didn't have no support, no family. But I was watching all the kids in the neighborhood, and one of my neighbors said, "Why don't you do daycare?" And I was like, I don't know how to do that. And she said, "Oh
That is
yeah," she
amazing.
said, "You can do it." And I just start taking classes, and then when I learned stuff, and that's what I'm saying. When you don't know something, ask somebody. There is the only thing that stands between us and what we need is asking. Do not be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Don't think about, well, I'm not up there where they are, and they might look at me like I can't, because some people think that income gap, or that bougie bag that people have, or those, you could think about somebody have on a nice suit and like, oh, he might not want to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was that kind of person, and always be the person that you could just go and say, hey, can you help me? Now, if they say no, keep going until somebody gonna say, yeah, I help you. And I
Wow.
found out how to do it, and I did it in my home. I took my welfare check and I started daycare in my house. I went from a $674 check a month to making $4,000 every 2 weeks off
Because
of
you
that
changed
check.
your mindset. I think it's just changing your mindset. It's really just that simple,
I
right?
wasn't scared, and I decided not to be afraid to actually ask for what I didn't know. I didn't know how to be a business owner. I didn't know nothing about that. But what I've learned, even with the writing books and stuff, I didn't know how to do none of the stuff that I'm doing. I just asked somebody. I didn't know how to come on a show. I just, reached out to Miss Rich, and she said, okay. And then I said, well, I don't even know how to do it. Can you help me? And she told me, oh, this is how we're going to do this, what you do. And she guided me through it. Now, most people say you can't ask them that. They can't help you at all. But you'd be surprised who be willing to help you, as long as you're willing to leap out and do something to better your life. So a lot of people want to see you win.
Yes, they do. Let me tell you, I absolutely love what you just said, because people always ask me, like, well, how did you do? And it's like, I don't know. I just went out and I just asked people, and I just learned. It's like literally learning on the job, right?
Right.
Even for the TV shows, like I've been on Dr. Oz several times. I have been on
Yes.
Steve Harvey's show and Rachel Ray, and it was literally just sending a pitch. That's it.
See,
Just sending a pitch. But Dr. Oz, he has been my mentor, and he is absolutely
he
amazing.
is a
And I
great
remember,
man.
I remember my first appearance. I've made over five. And I
Oh,
remember
that's
my first appearance, and I was like, I'm so nervous. And he's like, Chantel, you're amazing. You're going to be fine. And I was like,
telling.
you think so? Yeah. So now I've learned to turn, instead of saying I'm nervous, I say, I'm so excited and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. And I know my
Oh,
mind is probably like, what the heck is she talking about? I kind of switched the narrative. And so now I do that every time when I feel like nervous. Even when I used to come on these, live conversations, I'd be like, oh my goodness, my stomach would just be like going. And then I get on and I'm like, oh my God, this is like a piece of pie. Because piece of pie. I just want to have conversations. I've been in media for so long that I'm so tired of boring interviews. I really am. The whole media aspect of, like, some people ask me, like, can you send the questions so we can give? And I'm like, can we just have a conversation? I'm not going to ask anything crazy. I'm not here to expose any. I've been a publicist for a while. I know a lot of people's dirty laundry, if that's what you would call it.
right.
That's not what I'm here for, because that's not benefiting anyone. If you want to share whatever it is that can help
Yes.
someone so that they can persevere and get through that situation, and let's talk about it. But I'm not trying to expose anything. I'm not trying to ask
Hurt you in
anything
no
that's all
form.
crazy. No fame, fortune, none of that.
Yes.
I just want to send love. I just want to be in a
Yes.
vibration, a frequency of love, because that's what we need right now. I was raised by my grandmother. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Where are you from?
Gary, Indiana. I'm Midwest
Ah,
with you.
oh, you did. We vibe. Yes, I'm
Right.
originally from Cleveland, Ohio. And, my grandmother, if you see me sipping coffee, it's always, I feel like it's just her spirit. We used to sit at the kitchen table in the morning and we would
Oh,
have coffee. I didn't even ask you if it was okay if we went over, because I wanted to make sure that we still get our complete hour, because we did start a little bit later. You're okay with that?
yeah.
Okay, all right. I think we still got about 10 more minutes or so. Yeah, so we would sit at the table every morning and she would have her cup of coffee and she would give me a teaspoon and I'll still have my teacup. She gave me a teaspoon of coffee at 5. And I've been drinking ever since. And now when I have these conversations, I always bring a cup of coffee. And it's just literally sometimes I'll write a couple things because my mind be all over the place and I don't want to forget to ask those questions, but I don't have a list of questions.
Right.
We are not in that climate for that.
No,
You,
I think what it is the authentic is it is the better it is. The
yes.
authenticity, because people don't want stuff that's manuscript. They need to,
Hmm.
we're dealing with real life. We're dealing with real stuff. And we have to be honest about what is happening so that people can understand that, oh, you're not by yourself. And we care. We care.
Exactly.
We are all in
Exactly.
this together, and your hurt is my hurt. Your needing to get ahead and get over whatever is coming against you is something I need to help. Let's help. That's all we supposed to do is be one to another, iron sharpen iron. We're supposed to strengthen each other. That's what God told. He said, Peter, he said, when you get strong, strengthen your brethren.
Absolutely. It is 100% my responsibility as a leader. I feel like to step up to the plate during this time, to
Yes.
give back and say, we're all in this together. I was listening to a female earlier and she was saying, she says, oh, it looks like you all got it together. And I was just listening to her and I let her finish. And then I got on, I'm like, honey, you check these conversations. We are all successful in our own right, in our our
Exactly.
chosen creative, all of these amazing things that we do, but we all have problems to solve in our own personal lives and we
Every
all
day.
go through things. And there have been people in here who have lost loved ones, parents,
Right.
children. I think I spoke to a guy, was it yesterday? Oh my goodness, I've been so busy. I think it was yesterday. There was a detective that was on one of the rooms that I was in, and his wife or girlfriend killed their child, right? So I'm
Wow.
thinking, like, you sometimes look at the cars and people and whatever it is that they do, and you automatically, I don't know why people think that, just because
Right.
you've been on TV or you have
They
books
think
and
your
all of
life
these
is
things.
wonderful. But you know what I try to tell people is this is that you would be people who have money and success or whatever they might have, never compare yourself because you
No,
are enough. And if you spend your time looking into somebody else's house and trying to see what they have, you will not be able to build your own
no.
because you're so busy trying to look at how to be like that person or what can I get what they got and how can I get it, when all you have to do is focus on you, focus on God, and focus on your own journey and all of the things that is in you. People, we all don't possess the same stuff, and that's what's so good about it, because you might have something that I can't do and I will be able to do
Oh, I
something you
say
can,
that
and then
all
we
the
could
time.
connect it. So
Yes.
everything that everybody have is valuable to all each other. We all have value to bring to one another, and all we
Can
have to do is just focus on yourself and God. Keep God and yourself at the center so you won't have to be paying attention to the world. And then it's
can
a
you
false
imagine?
narrative. It's not
It
the real.
is. It's illusion. It's illusion. Can you imagine? I always want to ask people, like, can you imagine if that one thing that you have, because it's inside of you and you quietly probably question it, what if it changes the entire way that we look at the world?
Exactly. I mean, and people don't believe that something started somewhere. It's just like at first James Brown was it. You know what I'm saying? And then it came along. Here come Michael Jackson.
Oh,
Then
I
here
had his
come
nephew on recently.
right. Then we here
Oh, he
come
was so
Prince.
beautiful.
Prince
Hmm.
came about. You know what I'm saying? So and then we got Chris Brown, and there go Usher, and there, so it's God always have something in everybody. But if they
And
all
there goes
focus
Mary Angel.
on that person and said, "Oh, I just gonna focus on Michael Jackson," Michael Jackson, but it's like we need you too.
Yes, we do.
So
We're all
everybody
significant.
can't be Michael Jackson, but somebody can be. Usher had to be Usher. You know what I'm saying? And Oprah is Oprah, and Tyler Perry is Tyler Perry. We need
Hmm.
them to be who they are,
Yes, we
and we
do.
can.
Yes,
And,
we
and
do.
so don't never hold back on learning and exploring who you are in God, who God made you to be. Because if you put that focus on yourself of God, what is it that you want me to bring to this world? What do I have to offer? What do you want me to do? That is something that you need to learn to cultivate. And Everybody is around you to help you, to
They're
help
right
you.
there.
Everybody's around you to help you and to bring that forth, because we need what you have inside of you. We need that.
Choose your path. That's what it's about. It's literally about creating a life that you want, believing that it's possible, and also knowing that there's a process. There was something in one of my comments where someone said, I can definitely choose my path, but what about the obstacles? And I always think that the obstacles are based upon what we're perceiving them to be. It's just something
Exactly.
my grandmother always said that in order to go through, I mean, in order to get through it, you got to go through it. So that's how you got to
And if
grow,
you
right?
get through it, then I got knowing that, okay, I can make it through this because she
You
made
can
it.
make it.
You can,
Yes.
your inspiration of getting through it is like, oh, okay, I can do this, because you will show me how it's, done. And then I'm like,
Oh,
oh, okay, I got something to go by. Ain't that even better to be able to say, oh, I see how that's done? And
I
then you
think
can
so.
actually do it. I like that better. I don't want to be the one that everybody looking at me to do it. I'm like, does anybody know how to do it? And just think, all the great cooks and stuff, they learn from somebody.
That is so true. I really, honestly, I'm so grateful. I always tell the children that sometimes we always want what we didn't get, and
Right.
not realizing that a lot of times, even if the situation don't look its best, that's where we are planted, and those are the cards that were played. And don't let go of your dream.
Yes.
Long as you hold on to your dream, you got absolutely everything that it is that you need. I'm so grateful. I used to always wonder, like, man, I want my mom here, but I don't know where I would be right now if she had been there at that time. She may not have given me what I needed so that I can
Right.
be, all of these amazing things that I have been able to do so that I can be here for God's people. So I want people to know that too, that we can only deal with the cards that we are dealt and take those and do the best that we can
Yes.
do with them.
And
Right?
everything that we have, he will multiply, he will help us. I told a friend of mine who was worried about the fact that, she was not on the platform and she's a minister. And I
Okay.
told her, I said, listen, if you go to your garbage can to take out the trash and there's a person in the backyard that you can minister to, that's more than being on a platform with 10,000 people, because you're standing before heaven, bringing in the word of God to bring light to this person, to bring them to his kingdom, to bring them to the
Because
place
that's
that
what
they
it's
need to
about.
be. And it doesn't mean that God didn't say everybody was going to be doing what Juanita Bynum does or what somebody else do. You may only, your job may be only to reach the person on the bus stop.
Uh-huh.
It may
Uh-huh.
be just
That's
to be
true.
at that job, to be able to be the light at that job so people can see Jesus and know him through you at work. So
Hmm.
your platform is wherever God placed you.
And here
And
we are at this moment.
right, right. And just do what he tell you, and whatever he would have you do, he will grow that. He will do that. Some people water, they talk about some people sow and the seed is planted and somebody else water. Everybody got a job to do. And
That
we
is
just
so
got to be
true.
thankful for whatever the position and learn our position. Don't try to do other people's stuff. Don't try to mimic nobody. Just try to stay within what God called you, because you are the best you can be, that he
Thank
made.
you, everybody that is on here. I really appreciate you. I'll start. I guess it's really hard to give shout
Hi,
outs. Oh my
everybody.
goodness. I know. Hello, everyone. Hi, DJ Magic J. We had Grammy nominated, three-time Grammy nominated producer. I'm going to get in trouble with these numbers. Davion Bots, he was on here. Shane Fiera, hello. Mohammed. Oh my goodness. Yes, we have gone global. I recently just became international best-selling author.
Yes.
Yeah, this is so cool. So it's just amazing. When you're living, you got to just live, and you just
Yes.
just answer to the calling, and you have no idea where it will take you.
And
We're
and
so
just
focused on results
right, take
instead
the
of just
ride.
starting. Yeah,
Listen,
enjoy the
I've
process,
I've
fall in
learned
love with it.
through this pandemic, everything that I've done has been through the pandemic. I've done nothing before that except stuff that I felt that I was, how you do stuff and you don't have it in a business form. You're just doing it
Hmm.
because you know how girls do hair and they know how to do it and they real good,
They're
but they
just
don't
doing
have a
it.
license. And so
Yes.
I've been doing this stuff for years, and I finally, last December 31st, I made it my business. Every December 31st, I am going to start some new project on that day. I no longer talk about my projects that I want to do, or resolutions. I'm the resolution. Every
Yeah, I
31st,
don't
I
do
meet
that
with a
either.
person to sit down and do something and get a business
Hmm.
going. And so that's what I've been doing. And I realized that all you have to do is just do it. Stop thinking about it and just do it. Just do it. Don't talk about it, think about it, do it.
I want everyone to make sure that they check out your website. www. We've usually skipped that part. maryangel.org. Oh,
Yes.
that's easy to
That's
remember.
so easy.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna make sure that when I put this video on YouTube that I add that link. Shout out to my sponsor again, 10K Cards, which is absolutely amazing that I'm doing an Instagram live and I have a sponsor for this
Amen.
show.
Yes.
Yes, what a blessing. Where anyone, I'm telling you, if you're an entrepreneur, click the link in my bio so that you can
Yes.
get your own copy of this digital card, because we're going digital during this
Beautiful.
time. I mean, this is a digital I don't know how long we're going to be in this. So I know that one of
Yes.
my favorite quotes by Magic Johnson is to always be ready to adapt and adjust. That's what one of the things that he says.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur, we always have to be ready to adapt and adjust. And I think that that's one of the things that I have done is that I have definitely turned everything digital. I
Right.
have, oh my goodness. It's been an amazing,
Right.
as bad things have been happening, it has been amazing for business for me. So I am grateful for this season, and I'm also grateful for you. I always end the show. I always end the show. I'm going to try to remove this so I can have my face there. I always end the show with one word, asking the guests if you could give us one word or one sentence to motivate and inspire us as we continue to move forward.
The one thing that I guess I want to say to everybody is to know that you are important. Never
Ugh,
devalue who you are. Just to know that your life, what you do, is important. And if anybody, if people don't pay attention to you, you know that you are important to yourself and to God. God loves you, and I want us to know that during this time, especially now, you are
oh,
important. I don't care if the
mm,
business closed. I don't care if the school ain't
it don't
open.
matter.
You are important.
You still got purpose. If you're still here, there's still work to be done. I absolutely thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to say before we
I just want to,
close?
I want to tell everybody to, during this time, try to take some time out to, continue to deal with your own emotional and mental state that you are
Mhm.
in, because we are going through difficult times now, and we
Yes, we
never
are.
know. We may not never go back to what life used to be, but
Right.
learn to keep up with your mental and emotional health. Learn
Mm.
to always not be afraid to get help, get counseling, talk to somebody, and don't be ashamed of whatever you feeling. You have to deal with it. Stop holding it back. Stop pretending. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Whatever is hurting you, or whatever you don't understand, or whatever you feeling, deal with it. Don't put it
Yes.
away. Deal with your life. Deal with yourself. Make you
Mm.
better. Make you better all the time. Always make you better. Never put you in the back, or never ignore you.
Self love. Yes.
Always make sure you good.
Thank you so much, Queen. Love, light, and energy to you. I am looking forward to. I need to check your site so I can get some stuff there because I'm a mommy. He's 14, but I could definitely donate it to some other children. I'm so interested in the journal piece because of the climate that we're in. So thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you. Have an amazing, amazing evening and love, light, and energy, and continue to stay safe during this time as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone. Thank
everybody.
you so much. Bye bye.